and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we don't really have to approve previous minutes now, do we?
Nope.
Okay.
We just have to announce that Commissioner Mark Greenwood's absent tonight.
Yep.
All the rest of the members are here.
What was your name?
John Ganger.
All right, nice to meet you. I'm Daniel.
All right.
Sorry, I should have done some introductions, huh?
Okay. So we want to talk with our guest first.
Well, let me make an announcement for John so he knows what's going on. The mayor's appointed you. That's her job. And according to the proceedings of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the members to be appointed by the mayor with the consent of the village council. So tonight you sit on our meeting, but you won't be allowed to vote till next week when the council approves you, which I don't imagine to be a problem, but that's part of the procedure, so.
I don't see a problem.
That's after all the background checks.
Yeah. So, welcome to the commission, John.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can proceed.
How can we help you?
Do I need to?
I believe so.
Yep,
Apparently,
okay, all right.
you got to be on.
Gotta be on camera?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're just here.
This is Todd Cook.
Yes.
Okay.
He owns the water, H2O uptown.
Okay.
Yeah, water
He's
store
Cool.
south of railroad tracks. And we're also in the process of opening a distillery.
Oh.
So my brother and I, we appreciate your consideration of changing the name of that street, the short section of Stone Street, changing it to Bourbon Street. It'd be a little extra advertising for us, and it would just be that section. It wouldn't affect anybody else's addresses, since we own both sides of the street, and it'd just go down to Erie. So it'd be a short section. It wouldn't affect anybody else's postal issues or at all, hopefully not. But we just appreciate your considering it if you will.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay. So we have to approve that, correct?
Yes, I think I sent out an email, or maybe you sent out the email to everybody. It's ordinance 2025. The rest of it's blank.
Yep.
There's an ordinance for renaming a portion of Stone Street in the village of Antwerp, Ohio, spanning from the intersection of Stone Street and South Main Street to the intersection of Stone Street and Erie Street to Bourbon Street. So I guess we open up the floor for any comments or concerns.
I mean, seems pretty straightforward to me. You said nobody else is even.
It shouldn't affect anybody
Yeah.
else's address at all. Because yours is.
Mine's
your
on the
building
other
is
side, but mine's
on Main,
122.
South Main.
The only concern I heard was that street would then have three names. On the other side of 49 will be Railroad Street, and then it would turn to Bourbon Street, and then it would turn to Stone Street for the remainder of the street. That was a concern that I heard when I talked to Mark Greenwood. That was one of his concerns, that possibly might create problems with deliveries for UPS guys or FedEx or any of them. But like Todd said, there's no other buildings on that street that he doesn't own. And there's no residents on that street, it's just a business.
H2O is getting delivered to 124, right? South Main.
208.
That goes to 208.
That's H2O. And they deliver our stuff to this house on North Main all the time.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Because none of their programs say that South Main even exists. And so the house right next to the coffee shop, we sometimes have to go there and they're like, yeah, we got a package for you.
yeah,
Yeah, I personally don't have any problem with it as far as
I
being
don't.
concerned on my behalf.
What is, how far does Railroad Street go?
Railroad Street runs from
Main to,
for Main or 49
The end of-
west to it dead ends down there in the third block, I think, on the other
They
side of the
closed it
elevator.
off.
yeah, that's
Go
right.
back
So that's where it
through there.
ends.
It doesn't go clear through town, it's a dead end street going the other way. And a portion of that street's private now because the elevator owns the street where, right where the elevator's at, so they could run their trucks in and out of there and park themselves.
Okay, so
And Todd doesn't know, or I mean, Jeff doesn't know what he's doing with that building.
What's that?
Jeff doesn't know what he's doing with that building on
On
Railroad. Yeah,
That's hopefully gonna get that new facade, and the grant money, the infrastructure money is gonna go to that, so.
I didn't know if changing it all, would you wanna change it all the way down
Well,
from there?
the only way you can change it is, according to law, you would have to get consent of every resident that lives on the rest of that street. It really wouldn't affect them because everybody has a post office box, so they would pick up their mail at the same place. But if they have checking accounts or they have any other mailing addresses such as,
That'd be a can of worms.
online stuff.
so they don't have mailboxes on the street.
No.
No.
They have to go uptown somewhere.
Gotta be a certain
If you're so-
distance away from the
so-
post
so-
office.
Okay.
So it's something we could change now if they have problems with it and they want to change it too.
I don't know, what's the VFW's address?
Could we put a sign on the pole on 49 pointing Stone Street? We have it that says bowling alley and
Yeah.
ball fields and all that.
This is 105 Railroad.
That's what it is.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Railroad Street. Everything on that side's railroad.
Yeah, so that would be probably a problem.
I mean, it's not gonna affect anybody else, so I think you have a harder time changing more than you would just changing a little bit. I know at least, yeah.
Well, I think it'd be good for business.
Yeah,
me
That's
too.
what Antwerp's trying to
Yeah.
promote business, and
Mhm.
if you can get something like, whether you're going to New Orleans or Bourbon Street, you can come to Antwerp and
Yeah.
enjoy Bourbon Street. Hopefully Todd can get the licenses for some sort of an outside pub or something, who knows what it could lead to in the future.
So we wanna make a motion to vote or approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
I
Okay. Looks like it's a done deal. Wait, no, it's gotta go to council, right?
Yeah, this ordinance now will proceed to council next week. I'll present it to them and then they'll be able to vote on, and it'll have to have a public hearing once council approves it, cause it's a change in the zoning, I believe. Now, I'm not positive on that.
will they if it doesn't affect anybody?
Well, other than
You'd still
Todd,
have to. I know, but he
But-
wants it.
yeah, I don't think it would fit. But,
It's not a variance, right?
no, it's just an ordinance to name the street. And as far as the street sign, Todd, you were taking care of that, or the village needs to redo the street sign, or?
We would be happy to take care of that. I mean, I'm sure you have somebody that makes it, but we'd be happy to pay for it.
Okay.
I imagine once it gets approved, then they'll send it to fire department, police department, that kind of thing, just so they know.
So they know.
Right, yeah. And I talked to village administrator, and he said he would redo the village map to show that had been changed to Bourbon Street.
Okay.
So that they need to contact Paulding County Auditor's Office so they could update their system as well. Yes, Bryce.
Okay, I got a small thing I want to bring up. I've got a couple of parcels that I'd like to merge, and I've got the survey for it. How do I go about doing that here? Do I just need to submit the legal paperwork to you guys and you approve it? Or
I don't think it even needs our approval, cause when we did that with Gabe's lots, Brian just filled it out, made sure everything was correct, and I signed it. And I don't think it ever came to this
okay,
meeting or a different one.
so I just need to put the survey together,
I
put the
imagine.
request together, the legal paperwork and submit it
Yeah, and that was
And
when
then
I,
you can stamp it, or,
yeah, because when he did that paperwork, it was paperwork that I don't have.
okay,
So Brian took care of all the paperwork, whatever that may be, and said, yes, this is good. I
Okay.
looked it over and signed it, and I think that was it.
okay.
I'm sure there was maybe some kind of fee or something, but I don't quite remember, but we can figure it out.
Okay.
I'll make a note here to message Brian about it. Are they, just, you said a couple lots,
Just a couple lots that,
and you wanna combine all of them?
I just wanna combine them into one, so I'm not dealing with multiple pieces.
Okay. Are you building on them?
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, who knows what happens next year? But
Sure.
I don't have any plans at this point.
Okay. I know the last, not Gabe's, but the other, somebody else recently combined lots, and we, same thing, I believe. It was just some paperwork,
Yeah.
but the difference was they were gonna build on the lot line between the two lots.
Okay.
We kind of advocated against it a little bit, but the engineer's office in the county said, it's kind of normal to do it that way.
Uh-huh.
And they said that, you know, they were okay with it. Obviously, we could still say no, but
Mhm.
we didn't, so should be fine.
Okay.
Okay. While we're speaking about the auditor's office, I got a message. Let me look it up here. Was the village made aware of the Napa building being, she says replanted with the current sale to Antwerp Bank? I don't think replanted was the right word, but is the Napa building getting sold?
I hadn't heard.
It's empty now, they moved
It's
to a new
empty.
location, but what is transacted with the building, that doesn't really have anything to do with us, as far as.
She said replatted. Okay, that's right. So I haven't seen anything on that. Has anyone else?
Uh-uh.
Okay, all right. Apparently they're gonna try and replat something to do with the building, so,
Good, we don't need another empty building.
okay, that was all.
They might be trying to sell off part of one of the lots or something, I don't know.
Okay,
What that would consist of, not knowing the details of it.
Yeah,
But if they do change it, they have to go, zoning has to know so we can change maps and all that.
it sounds like the bank is buying it. Current sale to Antwerp Bank.
So
So,
one time they were looking to do more offices.
really,
I don't know. I think that's why they originally bought across the street.
across,
Yeah. And parking.
yeah,
okay. I'll let them know we don't know anything about it, and they should send us whatever they need. So what are these other ordinances that we're looking at?
Okay, well, I contacted you today. If you want to, Todd, you're welcome to leave, or
Okay.
you can stay, it's up to you.
Yeah. No, we thank you for the consideration. We appreciate it very much. So,
Here on out, it gets kind of boring, but you can see it on
Okay,
film
yeah.
later.
we appreciate the hard work. It
you're
takes a
welcome.
lot. I know you guys were in it.
Well, we appreciate you guys
So.
bringing business into town, because that's how
oh,
we
yeah.
maintain a town. Without it, then we turn into a ghost town.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're setting stills tomorrow.
Really?
So,
So you have all your licensing and all that
it's
stuff?
all
Everything's
it's a good
ready?
go. Yeah, it's good to go.
Nice.
It's a long time coming, right?
Great.
Oh man, it took about 4 years.
Oh,
wow.
yeah, like
4 years.
years.
And you're gonna be making bourbon
Yes.
spirits?
I was
Yes.
gonna say, what was the first ones on your lineup? What's coming out?
First we'll do a vodka and a gin,
Excellent.
because that you can bottle, you
Oh, yeah.
know, right out the gate. But we bought a defunct distillery, so we have 132 barrels to start that we can blend. You know, some of them are rough. We're not going to use those, but some of them are pretty decent, about 9 years old. So that's where we're going to start and go from there. And then my family, on my mom's side, they had a distillery in Yugoslavia before they came to the United States. So they made Slivovitz, which is brandy from plums.
Nice.
So, and apricots. So we're gonna do something with that just because of the family history. So
Sure. Todd's a chemist, so it
Yeah.
should be good.
so this is like chemistry you can drink.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this falls under old business. A couple months ago or longer, we were working on the zoning plot. I don't know what page it is. Page 3 is 75. But we were putting places for restaurants, bars, recreational marijuana dispensaries, and medical marijuana dispensaries. We sent that out this afternoon. I don't know if anybody got it. I'm sure John did because we know.
Oh, you're not on the thing, yeah.
So we'll have to get your email address so we can keep you in the loop with us.
Absolutely.
We had okayed it at a previous meeting, but then as we talked about it, we decided instead of it being permissible, it needed to be conditional because of the licensing that was required, the different stages they had to go through. So all we did was change the P's to C's, but I think we need to vote on it the way it is. I don't know, if anybody else need to see this? Top 4 is what will be added to the, down at the bottom, a little section down there, that's 4 that we're gonna be adding to the zoning book. It's not already there.
Covers everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Those are our new ones.
What did,
Go ahead.
what did we ever decide on growing? Didn't we talk about growing at one time? Is that covered in the,
In the description, medical marijuana
any of
dispensaries.
those?
No, I don't know how that is bracketed as far as the grower, whether that's.
What did,
Can the dispensary grow down there?
we talked
No.
about it, I don't remember, there was,
It's gotta
well,
be in a
because
farm.
it's not zoned agriculture.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it even has that possible, where do we have agriculture that they, you know what I mean? I don't think they could,
Well,
at least in the place they're going in.
yeah, what little I know about it, it's up there at Coldwater, there at Dairy Queen. And
You
right
said
beside it,
somebody
they
that-
have a dispensary and they grow right above
Yeah.
the same building. It's all, it's
Right.
not a field, it's an indoor
And I don't think we
greenhouse.
want that.
I wouldn't, no, I don't think so.
I don't know if we need to.
There's no provisions for it right now, we hadn't run across that, I guess.
And I think that's why we changed those to conditional use, that way they would have to basically apply, correct? To,
And we could.
and then we
cut
could
that
say, no, you can't grow.
Or
you can-
come up with a system that works, you know.
But there's somewhere, because it's agriculture, they can't just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, it's not zoned as agriculture.
Yeah, I'm sure
That's-
that's regulated pretty heavily by the state.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Because the growing licenses are all different than
Are they? I
the
don't-
distribution and all that stuff. So they would have to have a separate grower's license from the state, which I'm sure they couldn't get without our approval, I would think.
because we do have a couple agriculture fields and stuff in town that's
Right,
been approved,
For agriculture, right?
well,
That's
they were
within-
agriculture to begin with, we
Yes.
just never switched it.
right.
That's within the city limits.
Yes.
Right.
So, in theory, if those people ever sold to somebody, they could potentially.
Well, I think that it has to be in a building, I don't believe it's grown as a field crop. Yeah, right.
I don't know.
How does that apply to an individual growing the state minimum of 6 or how many ever they
Yeah.
say? Is that,
Well, that'd be under
do we have
private,
to regulate that too, or is that just automatic because the state says they can?
yeah, it's, that falls under state law, it's,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stick 6 plants in your basement, be my guess. I don't, you know what I mean?
yeah, if you put
I
10
don't-
in there, I could be a little worried.
yeah.
But the village we can't police that as far as regulating it.
Inside their house, yeah.
That would be underneath the drug enforcement side of the law.
If, I mean, I don't think we have any current concern with the fields getting switched to marijuana, do we?
No, I'm sure it's highly regulated because it's being next to corporate, or inside corporation limits or next to a school.
But in Coldwater, they were able to do it.
Or were they?
Well, like you said, right? They were
Well, it's in the
growing above-
building.
Oh,
Yeah.
inside, yeah.
It's in a greenhouse building.
Yeah, I wouldn't think, I know like there's a place that grows it up in Morenci, but like it's in a greenhouse, they have like 24/7 security. I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of stipulations, I
Right.
think.
I mean,
To
they
get-
would want the security too, right?
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't wanna grow it out in the field
Right.
where people
Yeah.
take it. Yeah. So,
I believe that was all one unit.
Okay, so you said we do need to vote on that then?
I would say we need to vote on it as it reads right now with the conditional in order, and I can present it to council next week. And then, of course, it's subject to their approval, but it has to go through us first.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it as it is.
I'll second.
Okay. Go for it.
Aye.
Alright. So that will go to council. The name change will go to council also?
On the
Correct.
14th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I got a couple more here, it's going to council. We'll get them all put together and I'll read off what we got. We had some we approved from previous meetings that I've been hanging on to because of the fact that we need to get it in the newspaper and then have the public hearings.
We had a variance sent in that is actually not us, I thought it was, but I think it's for the marijuana place. But Brian said that's not our board, so we don't need to worry about that. I sent that through the email, but disregard on that.
Yeah, the only thing that we could do, and that would be, this board has the ability, is we could rezone the rest of River Street into a B2. It's B2 up to the driveway goes back to the trailer court. And then from there on, it's R2. We could rezone that to B2, and then the parking lot would be, well, no, that's listed as being, yeah, they got, that wouldn't even work.
Multi-family. Two.
Well, parking lots are accessory buildings, they have to be approved even in a B2 area. So, yeah, it wouldn't do us any good to even rezone it. So, yeah, it has to go through the zoning appeals board.
This says allow 510 River Street R2 multifamily district to be used as accessory parking for medical and adult use cannabis dispensary located at 503 River Street, which is B1.
Yeah, according
That
to
side of the street is B1 right now.
that side of the street is,
Cause weren't we talking about
the
how the
building,
dispensary got?
the dispensary is on B1, but the other side of the street, across from it is R2.
Yeah.
And it's B2 up to the driveway back to the trailer court, the whole side of the street where the pit stop gas station is and the doctor's office. That was all zoned.
At 503 River? I imagine, is that where the building is?
Yeah.
Okay. This
Old-
says it's
old
B1, you're
motel.
saying it's B2?
Well, the dispensary's on B1.
yeah, he's saying it's B1 and then across the street's R2.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's B2 all the way up on the other side of the street.
Okay. But that's
Yeah.
not our problem, I guess.
Yeah, because business and related usage parking lots are prohibited in every place but an I2, and then it's listed as as an accessory. So yeah, anytime somebody was put a parking lot, it has to go through the appeals board to be
Okay.
approved.
All right. So what is garage sale?
Okay. We've had complaints in the past that people that complained that some people are misusing it. I sent this email out to you guys last week, I think it was. I looked at different sites. I looked at Lima. Hicksville's had one since '79 for garage sales. So it's been something that's, it's not new to the area, and it's not just exclusively to us. But we've had problems with people having basically a flea market, and then sometimes they'll leave their stuff out, throw a tarp over the table, and when they're confronted about it, they'll have, "Oh, we're going to have another garage sale next week." So what this proposal is to limit the number of garage sales to 3 a year, and it would require a permit for 2 of them. The one garage sale you wouldn't need a permit for would be the Antwerp Days garage sale, where it's village wide. You would not need a permit for that particular one. The way it's listed, the Lima calls it home sales rather than garage sales, and their definition for home sales means the sale of personal property to the general public conducted on any portion of a residential property within any zoning district, to include but not to be limited to garage sales, patio sales, yard sales, carport sales, basement sales, porch sales, driveway sales, and the like. So that's why it's listed as garage sales / home sales. So somebody can't say, well, that's not a garage sale, it's a patio sale or whatever. So they've combined it all in, and down through it, it's always listed as a home sale. Home sales will be conducted from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. On 3 consecutive days, so you can't start on Monday and run it for 2 weeks and say, well, I'm still on the garage sale. So, and that's been pretty much standard. Hicksville's the same way. Theirs is from 9 to 8. It's monitored by the police department as far as any ordinance or any violations. Any police officer has rights. It doesn't follow the zoning inspectors back in order to take care of it. So that was the proposal. Let's see. And the permit is free. There's no charge for the permit, but you have to have it. And it has to be displayed at the time of the garage sale, so that whoever comes up there, the officer doesn't have to ask for it, and then you have to, well, give me a minute, I'll go get it type of stuff. It's supposed to be displayed. As far as it says, signage has to be on the property. They can't be out right away. Displayed only during the sale. And other point was on it, mayor shall provide applications for permits for home sale, and application for permits shall be included in the name, application, who shall be the resident of the village, the resident's address and stuff. And after completion of the permit, the mayor or whoever is designated by the mayor shall issue the permits to the application. So that's up to the mayor if she wants the village administrator to take care of it, or she wants the water clerk lady to take care of it, or person. That would be, or the mayor herself, she could do it according to the way this was rolled out.
Problem is, I'm not here a lot. I don't
Yeah.
come up here just to sit. If I got something to do, I come.
And see, that's
The other
on,
ones are in their office,
Yeah.
so.
and this could be modified. This is just a write-up that I made, copying off other villages to try and come up with something that would work for us. It's not trying to limit anybody as far as 3 garage sales a year. If you've got that much stuff to sell, you're a pretty busy person buying stuff. And this also limits it to where you can only sell your own personal items. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. You can't, well, it's basically what it's doing is stopping flea markets from running.
It was at the beginning somewhere.
Just seems hard to enforce. I don't know how I would know somebody.
Well, it would be difficult to enforce, but it's more or less trying to limit it. If somebody went out and bought stuff and resold it. But the main thing is to keep them from turning it into basically a flea market, of where they're actually, going out buying new merchandise and selling it off the tables or whatever. But there again, it's more or less kind of like on the honor system. You set these up, And most people, or probably everybody will go by it, but if not, then it gives you the means to try and control a situation.
Is there anything in there about the signs?
Yes, it says,
3 feet by 3 feet, no greater than.
How long it can be up?
it
We've got
says,
Only
complaints
during the
about
sale.
yeah.
Only during the sale.
that. Okay, we've gotten complaints about that. People put them on the poles and stuff and don't take them down.
Personal property for sale and signs shall be promptly removed after the sale.
No sign shall be placed in the public right of way or on property other than where the sale is being conducted. No lighted sign, only during the sale to be displayed. Personal property for sale sign shall be promptly removed. Yeah, okay.
It does limit it, and it's 929.02. It says home sale shall be conducted at the same residence property no more than 2 times in 1 calendar year, with a minimum of 60 days between the end of the one sale and the beginning of another. So that way they're not stacking them up. Well, I'm having this garage sale this week and this week's type thing. Now, like I said, this stuff can all be modified. This is kind of just a place to start if we want to go there, or if we don't.
I think it sounds fair. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the time between, to me, I would just say put a quantity on it, right? Because if you, let's just say you gather all of your stuff and you want to do it in one big shebang and it's 2 weekends,
that's true.
to me, that's fine. But like, so the time between, to me, doesn't matter. But
60 days.
yeah, you know, if it's,
Yeah, I said, this is
How much action do we get during the 127? Is that anywhere?
No, then we don't get any of that.
Okay.
okay.
We don't have a 49 garage sale day.
Yeah.
So we have an Antwerp garage sale day. I think it's in August, I'm not positive.
And it's busy.
Yeah,
Sure.
that gets busy, yeah.
I just say I know some of the people that do like the 127 sales. You know, they'll set up the weekend before.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and or the weekend after. I mean, that might be a 2 to 3 week deal for some of those people.
But this permit process would then, say somebody needed to do that, they could apply for a variance, right? Then couldn't they come in and if there's a certain legitimate condition, they could apply for some sort of variance against that ordinance?
Well,
Say it's in
that might
place?
not work out because the variance is gonna cost them $75.
Yeah,
So
intake.
Depends how bad they wanna have
I
it.
guess so. I just wanna make sure that option is technically available,
You'd have to
right?
go through the board, and the appeals board.
I mean, I guess you could technically apply
I
for.
just wanna
Yeah,
make sure, I mean,
Right.
somebody.
I don't know why you would.
I don't know why you would either.
But
I just wanna
The
make
only thing
sure.
I could see is if it would be like an estates process, you know, if the person passed, you've already had 2 sales, now you have to liquidate the property. And then I'm sure something like that, you probably wouldn't have to apply for a variance, depending on the circumstances. You know, it's not as if
Yeah.
it's cut and dried.
does this say anything about estate sales?
I didn't see.
I thought I saw something.
It's,
Is there something already?
in 429.04, this section will not apply to any sales licensed by an
Okay.
auctioneer.
So
So-
that's good then. It
So
won't
if they were
affect.
having an auction, yeah, it wouldn't count as a garage sale.
Okay.
And it's also has a section in here that if, say you have your kids' bicycles out front, 5 items or less as being advertised for sale, it is not considered a garage sale.
So if you put
Yeah, if you got bicycles or maybe you get lawn furniture or whatever, if it's out front and that's what you advertise, specifically those items, then yeah, it's not considered a garage sale. So there is some leniency in it. Oops. Read the section there. No.
I mean, I think it sounds mostly fair.
Yeah, for me.
I would say the minimum 60-day thing between, if you're only limiting them to
Three.
what, technically 2 outside of the village day.
Right.
I don't, if they wanna have it 2 back-to-back weekends, you know, I don't think that,
Maybe we take that out. And
Yeah.
just
Yeah, just,
2
just limit them to 3, but they can have them.
back-to-back
And they want-
weekends and
I can't imagine somebody having more than 3 garage sales a year, I don't know, maybe they do.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Sure, get
But hey,
Alright, you have a different,
well, I mean, at the end of the day, if you had that much stuff, you're probably on Facebook Marketplace advertising items as one of. Some people are coming. Like, there are other mediums to do this rather than pile your junk in a garage and actually perform a garage sale that people literally walk through, right? So, like, man, we're talking about a lot of stuff that I can't imagine this being a problem. But. And I am glad the permit being free.
yeah, I don't think we
That-
should charge
that's
people
good.
for it.
As long as, response time is adequate.
Do any other villages in the county have anything like this, do we know?
Yeah, Hicksville does.
Hicksville?
Yep, theirs was, they enacted it in 1979.
1970, wow.
Do they still charge for theirs? It
Yeah.
used to be like $25.
According to what's on their website, there's no fee for it. It's, say something. It's just, no permit holder shall conduct a garage sale without posting a permit certificate in the permanent place upon the licensed premises. During the garage sale, no permit holder shall fail to exhibit a permit certification upon request of any village police officer.
Is that Hicksville's?
Yes.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The last one? Or
Yeah, about the police officer?
during the garage sale, no permit holder shall fail to exhibit the permit certificate upon request to any village police officer.
Okay.
So in case they don't have it up, they're requested to have it. It says the mayor shall provide applications for permits for garage sales. An application for a permit shall include the name of the applicant, who shall be a resident of the village, the residence address where the garage sale will be held, telephone number of the resident, and the date, hours, and duration of the garage sale. And it says, after completion of the permit, the mayor or whoever is designated by the mayor shall issue the permit to the resident. This section shall not apply to any sale by a licensed auctioneer. That's basically, I pretty much copy everything they have. Whoever violates any of the provisions in this section is guilty of a minor misdemeanor. And that's just the way this.
Did you type that up, or did we have the one that we're
Yeah, I
looking
typed
at?
this
You
up.
did? Okay.
Yeah, I sit down and do it all. And to me, it's a little easier if it's already there in some form, and then we can kind of look at it and, like you say, take out that section about the 60 days.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
So-
you didn't say anything about a cost, but maybe there is. I really don't know.
I'd rather there not be.
Yeah, that's what with me. I can't see why.
Yeah.
So if we say we want to approve this minus the 60-day thing, then what? We send it to the attorney and he drafts it,
I would present it to council.
and then they send it to the
Yeah.
attorney?
See what you do. I go to council. I present this to them that if it's been approved by us to be submitted to the village solicitor, and he goes over and checks it for any legalities or any typo errors or the formatting is proper on it. So
That was-
yeah, we're just
Talking
it's
about
a request to approve something like they'll actually deny it, and I assume when I present it, if they want to make any amendments to it or changes at that time, they can before we have a public hearing on it.
Okay. But it will have to go to a public hearing after it's approved?
I don't know on some of this stuff, what the legality is.
I don't think we've Cause we've sent a couple ordinances already to council, haven't we?
Not since you've been on, I don't believe.
Okay,
Cause I've been hanging on to them till
okay,
like this one for the dispensary. We were still kind of,
yeah,
then it was in the works yet.
okay. So do we need to vote on it to send it to council?
Yeah, we'd have to approve it minus section A of the home sales or a minimum of 60 days between them. And then I can
Should we
retype it.
redo it? Should we redo it and then vote on it next, or what's your thoughts?
We can, I can make the changes and bring it back
I'd
up.
be a little curious to see if, how many other villages
I'd
have
like to
the
look at it a little
same,
bit.
have the same ordinance. So you wanna look into it a little bit more, take the 60-day thing out and then look at it next meeting, or do we wanna try and push it through?
It doesn't matter to me, it was just, we're coming into garage sale
Yeah,
season, so
I was just gonna say,
True.
this is May, and
True.
prices also start popping up.
But if council has a problem with it, they'll deny it, right? They can deny
they
it.
can deny it, they can make amendments to it.
So I say we vote on it, send it through. If council has an issue with it, then amend it. And I
Like
mean,
Johnny said, I like everything except for the 60 days.
Yeah.
What I'll do, I'll go home, I'll take that part out, of course, I'll have to redo the ABCD, and then I'll email it to everybody. And when you see it, if you think it's all right, just email me back, yeah, good, okay, or whatever. And I get a vote from everybody, and if they approve it, then I'll bring it to council next week. As with that missing, if we approve it tonight.
okay. I would say we're,
So I'll make a motion to approve it with the amendment in it, taking out the section for the 60 days.
Second.
okay. All for it?
Aye.
Yeah, I am, sorry.
Okay.
The rest of the stuff here, so we'll get sidetracked.
I messaged Josh, the mayor of Oakwood, to get their nuisance ordinance. He has not sent it to me yet. I think they just passed it through and they were waiting on, he was waiting on a final version to maybe send over.
Okay.
Is this next section the dangerous building one? Is that the one we've been looking at for basically the nuisance stuff?
Right, yeah, that's, I don't know if I sent this, I think everybody got a copy of this, Village of Oakwood. And Brian Davis, he showed it to me and he requested that I bring it to the zoning board for our opinion on it and possibly get something started as an ordinance. So I went online. I'm not a lawyer, I can't write up legal stuff. I'm sorry, but I have to copy somebody else's. So this is a section that I sent you guys. This is what Lima has as far as existing buildings. And I added the mobile homes and dangerous structures. We have an ordinance. Let's see. And we had one and the council didn't like it. It was set up strictly for mobile homes to try and do something with ones that were in dilapidated shape. And so they asked us to do something with it. We've been kicking it around a little bit, trying to come up with some structure for it. And what I see of this, with this one here, there's a lot of legalities to it because you can't just go in and say that property is, too bad a shape, you're gonna have to pay to tear it down, or we're gonna tear it down and charge you. According to the Limas, they have to go through the county auditor's office for an appraisal, and then it has to be a certain value of that appraisal, what the inspector would say it costs to fix it up, and if the cost is higher than what the appraisal value is of the property, then you can say that it's, a structured deal.
Okay.
So this is quite lengthy. I don't know what Oakwood has. I would like to myself wait and see what Oakwood's looks like,
Okay.
because this is quite in depth.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 pages of it.
Okay. Let me me see what,
I think that would be tough, what you just read, to get the appraisal and
Yeah,
a lot
Yeah.
of cost. And
Yeah, you're getting in the gray area there when you start talking about people's property, whether, and there's a lot of them, it's obvious that it's a piece of junk. You can look out here at the old car wash. He said he's gonna fix it up and still doesn't have a roof on it to this day. It's just this block structure that's been falling down.
30 years.
So that's kind of what we're trying to get headed in that direction. So I'd say we just kind of hold off on this. We'll see if we can get something out of Oakwood next month.
he said, let me get the ordinance sent over to you. I will get the signed ordinance. All I have is the pre-draft. So I don't know that they're quite done yet, but that was a couple days ago I sent him that email. I haven't seen anything back, so I can follow up with him to send it over, and once he does, I'll put it out to the thread.
And that one you sent, newspaper clipping, was one that was in their paper.
I believe that come out of Defiance paper, but don't hold me to it because like I said, he just handed me the photocopy of it, so I'm not sure. I would assume it come out of the paper. I'll give that to you. That was part that covers that, this application here. That's what the board has. That's how you have to proceed with. I don't know if you'd seen all that in our.
Yeah,
So I highlighted it. And that
okay,
was-
thank you.
Right, I know you.
Still a little unclear on what,
You get a lot of stuff on your plate. Hurry.
On the garage sale, does Hicksville have an application we can look at as well?
I
Do you see
would.
that on their website?
It's not on their website. I'd have to get a hold of either the village administrator or the mayor and find out. But I didn't want to proceed with it if we said, well, we didn't want to do it. You know, why go to the extra steps and then turn around and go backwards? So, but yeah, I can see if I can come up with that application process. So that's all I have on my table or platter tonight to work on. I can tell you guys what I'm going to be giving to the council. It's a lot because we've been holding off on it to wait till we have enough, and now we got a lot. So the first item was at 928, the commercial vehicle and recreational campers that I drafted up. She called me last week, said there was truckers still parking there. The one guy had gotten out of his truck, walked over the fence, was urinating, and they could see him right through the fence.
nice.
And the gas station was still open across the street. So it's an ongoing problem, and it's not getting any better. There's a copy of it there.
And that we're sending that.
This
Yep,
is over
I
there for
approved.
the Dollar General.
The other one is the ordinance of the fees for what we charge for the zoning permits and,
That's all been approved, right?
yeah, we approved it. I've been hanging on to it. We sent once to council. They looked it over. They said that the fee we had set up for appeals was too high. They felt they wanted to come back to us, and we hadn't adjusted any of the rest of our fees. So we doubled everything that was originally the fee that we had, and then we set the zoning appeals at $120, which I think before was 60 or something. I can't remember.
There was one we left. It was the
Yeah,
expensive one.
the rezoning application fee was $250, and we left that.
Okay.
As is the rest of it.
Which, that's what this is, isn't it? A rezoning application?
Yeah,
Because I thought I saw somewhere in here that they only paid like $50 for theirs or something.
they probably wanted a variance fee, but yes, I think that's, I'm not sure how it's wrote up.
Okay.
But yeah, you've got the paperwork.
Yeah,
right there.
I'll look at that. I don't think. You have an extra pen up there? I'm unprepared. Okay, I'll look at that a different time, but
And the next one I'm gonna present to council will be the ordinance confirming Stone Street will be changed to Bourbon Street, that first section. And then, this is here for the businesses and related usage, which will cover restaurants, bars, recreational marijuana dispensaries, and medical marijuana dispensaries. And then the garage sale one with the amendment of taking out section A of 929.02, which consists of the 60 days. That'll be removed. And I'll send everybody a copy of it for approval before I submit. So that's what I've got to take to council next week.
You're gonna be busy.
Yeah. Well, and then council also have to vote on the application or your new appointees for the
Yeah.
zoning appeals board.
okay.
So,
Does anybody have anything else that? I think that addresses everything in the email thread.
Yep.
I know we've been kind of dragging on with that deal on the trailers, but we want to do it right. We don't
Yeah,
wanna
that's a big one.
we don't want to get into something where people feel that they're being singled out or being hopefully we can find something that isn't tangled up in a web of legal stuff.
Okay. Yeah, anything else we need till next time, I guess? We need your email to get on here, if you wanna write it down on that, and I'll add you to this email thread. I already sent Brian an email about your lots, so I'll get on that, and then, like I said, I'm pretty sure they only
That way when I
paid.
redo this, I can send it to you.
I can confirm with Brian too.
Okay,
I bug him all the
It
time.
might have went to your guys' already. I forwarded it.
I just sent him an email or else I'd forget about it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
it does say here that they paid a $50 application fee.
Okay.
No, not for that, I'm sorry, Bryce.
Oh.
This is for the variance application, which doesn't sound right. But,
Well, I think, don't quote me on this, but rezoning would be like, we wanna take where the marijuana dispensary is at now as a B1, we would rezone it to a B2. That's been rezoned, that is rezoning. But what they wanna do is just have that lot with a variance on it to where they can put a parking lot. That's
Oh.
we're not changing any property
Okay.
lines, we're not changing any zoning specs, so I think that's why that falls in, and it's not.
okay, so it's not an actual rezoning, it's just a variance to the actual zoning. Okay. Okay.
Exactly what Bill said.
After I got to think about it, that's what, we run across that before, but you have this, rezoning's actually changing its classification of the property.
Okay. Anything else by anyone? No?
Oh, I have one other thing, I talked to Brian Davis about it today. Issue with newspapers, getting the 10-day notice in the newspaper and stuff. Asking if there's any chance that we could change that over to be and/or social media. He said he's gonna check into it, he'll bring it up to council meeting next week and have our village solicitor look, but as far as he knows right now, the state law still requires we have to at least have it in one newspaper publication, and then we can use a website, our calendar as a second publication. But it's been quite an ongoing deal since Bryce has on the council, for 3.5 years now, we haven't been able to use the West Bend, so now we're trying to get Paulding paper, or sometimes, I guess. I personally haven't had any problem, but getting a hold of them to get,
We can't publish things since you're on. Is that what you're saying?
so that's what I asked him to look into it, so maybe by next meeting, depending on what the outcome is, I might have something wrote up for that to change it. I looked in our zoning book, the word newspapers shows up 9 times in it, in various sections.
That's the thing, how many people from Antwerp get the Paulding Progress or whatever.
Well, that's true, and even the Defiance paper is no
Right.
longer an everyday
Right.
publication, it's,
Well, we do keep in mind that they are required to be on ohiopublicnotices.com or publicnoticesohio.com, if the newspaper's doing their job.
They were supposed to put it in there.
It has to be available. That's the all of Ohio public notice website.
So it doesn't matter what paper we put it in, that would qualify.
Yes. If they're doing their job. Now, the Crescent hasn't always done their job and put them up there, but we do. Every week we put up our public notices on that site. So you should be able to go to that site, put in the village you're in, or county, or whatever township, and it'll show you all the notices from all the newspapers or any other media outlet that they're in. But that is the official site of Ohio.
Is it accessible to, say, us, or do you have to be in a newspaper?
It
Public-
has to. It goes through the ONMA, which is the Ohio News Media Association
Okay,
site.
so it's not something that the village could
Put something.
input it themselves?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. There has been debate in the State House about that, but the problem, there's just multiple issues with that between laws
Yeah.
and separation of government
Sure.
and the media.
Okay.
So
Would our website be one of them if we just put on the front page? I don't know who does our website, but
well,
public notice or whatever.
it would be, as long as you have to still have one public, but it still has to be on the ONMA, the publicnoticesohio.com website. So, yes, I think the other after would qualify.
But the initial one has to.
Yeah, it has to be, because they don't want it where somebody says, after the fact, they just upload it to the town website and say, well, see, it's right there. Well, it goes to the state website, and that's the official one that's in the Ohio Revised Code.
And even though we can't run it in your paper, we can't have you put that on there.
Because it didn't run in our paper, I don't think
You can do that.
I don't think it would be qualified. I think you've got to have where it's legally posted. So if you do put something in the Crescent or the Progress, just make sure that they do it. We do it automatically, but I think they have this thing where they want to charge extra for doing it. We just figure it's part of our job. If you have a legal notice, it's got to be up there, which is what it should be. They should not be charging extra for it. So.
Okay.
that was one thing I checked into, and like Bryce said, it's still in legal legalities of it.
Work in progress.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of these small villages, we're looking up at the West Bends here, and in the past we've been able to use it, but you take a village like Payne or somebody like Cecil, they don't have a local paper that's
Right.
delivered. But it has to be, what I read, it has to be a paper that's delivered in your area. You can't go to Toledo and post it and say, here you go, we did it.
Is frowned upon.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
I'm not sure that it's illegal, but it is frowned upon.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All opposed, say aye. All right, we're in.